I love new smartphones as much as the next person, but let's be honest, it's always nice when an Android phone gets updated to one of the later versions of the Android software. I'm Aaron from PhoneDog.com, and it's time to take a look at Ice Cream Sandwich on the Motorola DROID 4. Let's check it out. Android 4.0 is making its way to additional devices. This time around, it's the Motorola DROID 4. The Verizon branded QWERTY device finally has, or at least is in the process of getting, Android 4.0, also known as Ice Cream Sandwich, and with it comes a host of improvements. Now you'll notice here, this is Android 4.0 Ice Cream Sandwich installed on our test unit here at PhoneDog, and you'll notice that especially if you've come from another Motorola device, perhaps an older one from even a year, 2 years ago, you've really seen some changes in Motorola's platform. They've gone from MotoBlur to Motorola's Applications platform up to this, and even though it's still called Motorola's Applications platform, you'll notice that sequentially it's much less branded and it doesn't have those themes of Motorola that we've seen in previous builds of the past. I think this is largely in part to Google's acquisition of Motorola, but you'll find that when you compare this to a Motorola device that's 6 months old, compared to one that's a year old, compared to one that's 2 years old, you'll notice substantial theme changes here, and you'll notice that the latest builds of Motorola's user interface are very similar to stock Google, and that's certainly a good thing for a lot of people. You still get some customization, some widgets and things like that, but outside of that, you'll notice some Motorola UI elements here, but outside of that, it's pretty similar to stock Google, and it's gone from being one of the most, flooded UIs, if you will, with aesthetics, with all kind of icons, to one of the most minimalistic UIs that very closely mimics stock Android. So very interesting to watch Motorola's transition over the years, although like I said, part of that is most likely due to Google's acquisition of Motorola. Now out of the gate here, no real changes on the DROID 4 version of this versus some of the other Motorola builds that we've reviewed, the DROID Razr, the DROID Razr Max, etc. What you're going to notice down here is your dock area with 4 shortcuts, I should say, and an application shortcut in the middle, again, very similar to stock Android. You'll see the menu settings here have changed as well. You got that kind of black look and feel here, the kind of filing cabinet look and feel, if you will, and of course, the notifications bar different here with the date, with your ability to X out of everything, or you can swipe to remove if you had stuff here, and a shortcut to settings. So you'll notice a couple of different things: wireless and networks, device, personal, and then system out of the gate. And of course, we'll go into security just so I can show you. You do get face unlock on the DROID 4 as well. So all of the goodies of Ice Cream Sandwich come to this device. So you're going to see some customization changes. You're going to see some font changes as well as a result of this being Ice Cream Sandwich. Then you'll notice stuff, for example, like this, the Gmail application, where as a result of getting Android 4.0, it's gone to a different look and feel. You've got the shortcuts down here at the bottom for new, or compose, I should say, search. You got your show all labels, and you've got refresh down here, of course, which you can do what I'm doing and press and hold rather, to see what each one of those are. So you've got a different look and feel in some of the applications, but where you'll see a lot of changes, they're pretty subtle for the most part. You got your browser here, and again, you'll see kind of a stock look and feel here on the browser with the tabs, and I'll show you in just a second. We're going to load up PhoneDog.com just as a test so I can show you a couple of different things. One, the browser itself, and two, the revised Motorola Keyboard. Now you'll notice some minor changes to Motorola's keyboard. They've always used, let's see, PhoneDog, I can't type and talk at the same time. PhoneDog.com. They've always used this multi-touch keyboard. That said, you're going to see some color changes on this one versus the older one. And again, the same menu interface here with the request desktop site, safe for offline reading, bookmarks, safe for bookmarks, and more. And then you've got your tab shortcut up here. So I can zoom in, for example, and let's say we'll take a look at the tags on the site. I can click the tabs button and you'll see it'll give me a preview of where I left off. Again, very stock Google look and feel here between the tabs, so I can scroll back and forth, and that's nearly a stock Google experience right there. So nice to see that. Of course, your search has changed as well. You'll see some color differences, and of course this is the DROID 4, so you have the physical QWERTY keyboard as well out of the gate. So that's something to keep in mind also. And then when it's in landscape mode, you'll notice that, for example, because of the landscape mode, you'll see kind of the widgets from the other screen peeking their way into the other home screen here, whereas when you're in portrait mode, you don't notice that. So little touches like that, if you will. Wallpapers, no real differences there. People, no real differences here, other than the fact that you got dialer, reset, and favorite shortcuts up here, and you can see my favorites, again, in the stock Google look and feel here. PhoneDog Aaron happens to be a favorite, so we'll click on PhoneDog Aaron, and it'll dial the contact, and you can see some changes here. You can add call, dial pad, in call, and more. And that is a demo number. Don't get your hopes up. That is just a sample number that's somewhere in my desk, which reminds me I probably need to find that and send that back to the respective wireless carrier because I've had that number for a while. Otherwise, menu looks pretty similar here to other Motorola Android 4.0 devices we've taken a look at. That said, VCast apps pre-installed, guided tours, Google Plus integration, mobile hotspot, My Verizon Mobile. You got Slingbox, Verizon Video, video calling, visual voicemail, which is available for $2.99, and VZ Navigator. And then once you scroll over past those, you move over into the widgets. And there are no real changes here from older versions to the newer version. That said, of course, you can customize Motorola's widgets by coming in here, for example. And we'll add the bookmarks one. And I can press and hold. I should be able, there we go, to modify the size of that if I see fit. I can change it and kind of make it my own, which is nice. So I can fill up the whole screen if I want to. I can make it as small as I'd like to within reason. And like I said, I still have my same 5 home screens over here, but I've got this little bar at the bottom telling me which one I'm on. So that's a nice little touch there. But back to apps and widgets. No real new widgets here, but you do get the ability to quickly switch back and forth between all apps and widgets. And when you press and hold on the home screen, it no longer brings up your widgets, but it brings up gallery wallpaper and live wallpaper. That's the extent of the changes of Android 4.0 on the Motorola Droid 4. It's rolling out now. If you haven't gotten it yet, take a look in settings, see if you have it available. Otherwise, a great update. Nice to see Ice Cream Sandwich rolling out to various devices. Much more coverage to come on PhoneDog.com. Keep it locked in the site for continuing coverage. Hit us up on Facebook, Facebook.com/PhoneDog. Let me know what you think of this update on Twitter, PhoneDog_Aaron, and on Facebook at Facebook.com/PhoneDogAB. Thanks so much for watching. Stay tuned for more on the Droid 4 with Ice Cream Sandwich. We'll see you next time.